I'm a big old geek. I think that's pretty obvious by now. Not only do I love video games and my geekdom, but I also really like comics. But unlike gaming, I didn't get into comics until I was an adult. I remember growing up and watching the 90s X-Men and Spider-Man cartoons and Batman the Animated Series. I like them all, but I don't remember owning any comic book based games, and the only titles I remember playing are the X-Men arcade game and the Versus fighting games. At least those are my strongest memories. Fast forward to the future, when I was about 22, a friend at work brought in a stack of Batman graphic novels, and I read The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I was hooked immediately and started consuming comics like crazy. So naturally, comic book games started to ping on my radar, and I played a wide variety ranging from the past to present day. Through this journey, I've enjoyed some awesome games, and if I'm being honest, a lot of bad ones. But in this video, I want to focus on Marvel Comics and the games that I enjoyed the most. Comic book fans like to ask each other, are you Marvel or DC? And I've always had a hard time answering that question, because I feel like I'm more attached to the characters themselves versus what brand they're under. But if I had to answer, I would have to say Marvel. With that said, let's check out some of my favorite Marvel Comics games. A quick note, I already discussed X-Men the arcade game and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 in a previous video, which you should check out, so also consider them part of this list. The Punisher, released in 2005. In the city, there are low-life scum of the earth bad guys, and the Punisher blows their fucking head off while keeping track of it in his war journal. He doesn't dispense vengeance, but punishment. At least that's how Castle sees it. That's all you really need to know about the Punisher as a character. This game came out 1 year after the 2004 movie starring Thomas Jane, and to my pleasant surprise, Jane continues his role by voicing Frank Castle in this game. Somewhere in this video game, there's a story. But that's not why you play it. You play it because you just want to let loose on criminal garbage while wielding dual shotties. There's no list of hundreds of collectibles to find, no giant map to discover fast travel spots, just simple mission maps and the fury of the Punisher. Outside an arsenal of destructive weapons to use, Frank also has assistance from Slaughter Mode, which turns Frank into a roid rage-fueled psycho that just goes ham on the opposition. But if you want some information before passing down your gory punishment, Castle can also interrogate enemies. But be careful, if you go too far, you'll kill the foe too fast and lose precious points. But nobody cares about that. It's all about the mayhem you bring down on this crack house. I like this game because it's just mindless fun and the rules are simple. There aren't any convoluted objectives, no constant breaks for cutscenes. You just kill motherfuckers and move on. You don't even need skill. There's so much to the player's advantage, you can just pick it up and play. There's a great satisfaction and feel just relaxing back and killing evil drug dealers with ease. The special interrogations are my favorite, as each is unique and kept me excited for what weird-ass scenario the next one would be. If you fuck them up, the game gets grim for a few seconds, as if I'm supposed to be concerned if Frank is becoming an actual psychopath. But I'm just more entertained than anything. And that's the point. This game is entertaining as hell. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, released in 2009. Back in 2006, Marvel Comics released Civil War, a crossover event that divided the Marvel Universe. The question we were all faced with was, are you for superhero registration or against it? The meat of Ultimate Alliance 2 showcases the Civil War, as lines are drawn and different heroes and villains team up to support their common cause. The game plays like a Diablo clone, except simpler. Every character has a set of skills they can use, as well as special combo super skills that can just clear a screen of enemies. Each hero can level up, which adds layers of RPG elements as you decide what to focus on the most in terms of combat and passive abilities. The hero selection is vast, with dozens of characters to pick from, accompanied with large stage maps that leave room for exploration. What I love about this game is the gameplay. It's simple and fun to look at. One could argue that this game and others like it are kind of the new version of a beat-em-up game. I spent hours mixing up different teams just to see what their combo skills would look like. I also thought it was awesome that you could get specific bonuses based on the type of team you assembled. And any game that includes my favorite of the X-Men, Cable, is always a bonus for me. I find games like this addicting. There's something about mashing buttons that eases my mind, and with the level up system included and a wide cast available, I would go through missions over and over using a different team every time. The game was re-released in 2016 on Steam that included all the DLC characters. Sadly though, you can no longer buy it. But if you are somehow able to get a digital copy of this game, and if you can get a fucking controller to work on it. Seriously, I had so many issues getting footage for this game. It's probably the best version to play. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, released in 2022 on Steam. Real quick, I don't own a PS5, so I'm still waiting for the PC release to play Spider-Man 2. So I have a weird thing with Spider-Man. I like the Sam Raimi movies, I like the Tom Holland movies, I like the 90s cartoon, I like the Spider-Verse movies, but I actually never really liked Spider-Man comics. For me, I always felt the character's best medium has been in movies or video games. I feel they are the best ways to see his powers, acrobatic skills, and it's way more enjoyable to hear all this shit talking when you are actually beating up bad guys. Miles Morales is another teen that gets bitten by an altered spider to gain superpowers. The original Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is heading out of town, and it's up to Miles to maintain the safety of New York City. The new Spider-Man games play like a lot of games we have seen over the years. Melee attacks, takedowns, counters, dodges. It's not reinventing the wheel here. And this game is a continuation of Marvel's Spider-Man, which I also enjoyed, so all the amazing web swinging and graphics are basically the same. What makes me put this game above its predecessor is Miles Morales himself. Look, I'm an old dude, so I've seen Peter Parker's story told so many times, over and over again, that it's just boring now. Miles brings a fresh, new perspective to the Spider-Man universe. He comes from a totally different background and era, so it combines the familiarity of Spider-Man with a new point of view that breaks the staleness a lot of comic book heroes gain over time. I enjoyed the writing in the game, and learning about Miles' past and his family was interesting to me. Another reason I prefer Miles Morales is Miles' skill set compared to Peter Parker's in the previous game. The addition of his electric abilities and moves just makes playing as Miles feel more badass. And can we count this game as a Christmas game? I love the holiday theme. To sum it up, I just had more fun playing as Miles Morales versus Peter Parker. The only criticism I have for this game is that it's too short. Hopefully when I play Spider-Man 2, I can enjoy more of this character. Marvel's Midnight Suns, released in 2022. You play as the Hunter, a reawakened fighter from the past that has to lead a team of Marvel superheroes against the coming destruction from the Hunter's mother Lilith and her master Chthon. Let's just jump to what I love about this game. The turn-based deck building combat. Holy shit, this is some of the most addicting gameplay I've played in a while. You build a deck for each hero, and the cards are the actions the characters can take. They are dealt to you at random in combat, and you have to determine the best way to strategically use the cards to win the battle. Since the actions dealt are random, almost each combat can require a different tactic that you have to improvise with. I love how it keeps each encounter fresh and surprising. I can't say enough about this combat system to do it justice. What complements the excellent combat is an interesting story with many side interactions and friendship building activities. Without spoiling anything, I'll just say the story is comic book as fuck. There are heroes and villains coming out of the woodwork from a variety of different Marvel comics, all twisting and contorting into a classic save the world plot. The Hunter is a custom character that's almost a blank slate that's formed based on decisions you make throughout the game. It's very Star Wars-like, where your selections are based on light or dark decisions. Outside of combat, there's a somewhat open world-ish section called the Abbey, where you can explore and find unlockables, solve puzzles, and complete side quests. This part actually surprised me, as I thought the whole game would just be the combat. It's not the best exploration, but it's a welcome addition. While making these videos and getting footage for these games, I always come across a few that make me want to go back and play them. Midnight Suns is one of those games. I just want to do battles over and over again, mixing teams and seeing the absolutely phenomenal action scenes with the abilities. Out of all the games I've discussed in this video, I recommend this one the most. As time has gone on, we've seen comic book games get bigger and better, and I don't expect them to slow down anytime soon. It's weird how big Marvel is in media now compared to when I was growing up. I'm really excited to see what's in store for comic books and gaming in the future. What are some of your favorite Marvel games? Feel free to share them. Thank you for watching.